The silence is what makes it louder. In an industry defined by constant visibility, where every post, every appearance, every hint is analyzed within seconds, silence is not just absence, it is a signal. And right now, the silence surrounding Jungkook is beginning to feel intentional. There are no official announcements, no confirmed comeback dates, no direct statements, and yet, something is happening. Behind the closed doors of HYBE, the lights are on. It didn't begin with a headline, it began with whispers. A mention here, a subtle clue there. A staff member spotted entering a studio building at an unusual hour, equipment being moved, familiar producers suddenly active again, schedules tightening. At first, these were dismissed as coincidence, routine, nothing more. But then, the pattern started to form. Fans, particularly those who have followed BTS for years, know this pattern all too well. It's the same quiet buildup that precedes something big, something global. And at the center of that growing speculation is one name, Jungkook. Not because he said anything, but because of what he didn't say. Jungkook has never been an artist who disappears without reason. Throughout his career, even in quieter periods, there were always glimpses, live streams, music recommendations, small updates that kept fans connected. But recently, something has shifted. The updates have become less frequent, the interactions more selective, the public presence more controlled. To some, it may seem like distance. To others, it feels like focus. Because in the world of music production, silence often means one thing: work. In K-pop, the studio is where everything begins, and where the biggest transformations happen. And right now, the studio is where all eyes are turning. Reports, unconfirmed but persistent, suggest increased activity around HYBE's production facilities. Long hours, multiple sessions, familiar collaborators returning. None of this has been officially linked to Jungkook, but fans are connecting the dots because history has taught them something important. When BTS prepares, they do it quietly. And when they're quiet, they're usually creating something massive. To understand why fans believe Jungkook may be taking a larger role, you have to look back, not at headlines, not at records, but at growth. From his early days as the youngest member, often described as the golden maknae, to his emergence as a global solo artist, Jungkook's journey has never been static. He didn't just become successful, he evolved, vocally, artistically, creatively. Over time, his involvement in music deepened. He wasn't just performing songs, he was shaping them, understanding structure, emotion, delivery. And then came the moment that changed everything, his solo era. Jungkook's solo success wasn't just about charts, it was about identity. For the first time, the world saw Jungkook not just as a member of BTS, but as an artist capable of standing alone on the global stage. And with that came something even more powerful: creative authority. Because when an artist proves they can carry a project alone, their voice, both literally and creatively, becomes stronger. In the industry, this often leads to a shift, not just in perception, but in role. When BTS began transitioning back into group activity after military service, expectations were already high. But what many fans didn't fully anticipate was this: they wouldn't be returning as the same artists. Each member had grown, changed, expanded. And Jungkook, perhaps more than anyone, had experienced a transformation that extended beyond performance. He had become a global brand, a solo force, an artist whose influence reached far beyond the boundaries of the group. So the question became inevitable: what happens when that version of Jungkook returns to BTS? There has been no official statement, no title, no confirmation, no announcement that Jungkook is taking a bigger role. And yet, the idea persists, because sometimes roles change before they are defined. Fans have begun to notice subtle shifts. increased attention on Jungkook's creative direction, growing recognition of his musical input, discussions about his influence on sound and style. None of these are confirmed, but together they form a narrative, one that suggests Jungkook may not just be participating in BTS's next chapter, but helping to shape it. In global music, there is a pattern that often goes unnoticed. Artists who achieve major solo success tend to return to group projects differently. They bring new perspectives, new confidence, new ideas, and often they take greater creative control, not because they are given permission, but because they have earned it. If that pattern holds true, then Jungkook's role in BTS's next album could be very different from before, not just as a performer, but as a contributor, a creator, perhaps even a creative leader in certain aspects. But with that possibility comes pressure, because this isn't just any comeback. This is BTS's return. After years of anticipation, after military service, after global expectations have only grown stronger, every decision matters. Every sound, every concept, every detail. And if Jungkook is indeed taking on a larger role, then he is stepping into something far bigger than himself. He is stepping into responsibility. Across platforms, discussions are growing, not as rumors, but as questions. Is Jungkook producing more this time? Will he lead the sound of the new album? Is this his era? These aren't accusations, they are curiosity. Because fans have seen the signs before, and they recognize the feeling. Something is coming. If there is one thing that continues to fuel speculation, it is this. There has been no denial, no clarification, no attempt to shut down the narrative. And in the entertainment industry, silence is rarely accidental. Sometimes it is strategic, because anticipation is powerful. And right now, anticipation is exactly what's building. There is always a moment before something big happens, a moment where everything feels still, uncertain, but charged with possibility. That is where fans believe they are now, waiting, watching, trying to read between the lines. What if this isn't just about a comeback? What if this is about evolution, about BTS entering a new phase, one where each member's individual growth shapes the group's collective identity? And what if Jungkook is at the center of that shift, not alone, but as part of a larger transformation? So, is Jungkook taking a bigger role in BTS's next album? The truth is, we don't know. Not yet. But the signs are there, the patterns are forming, and the silence is getting louder. When the announcement comes, and it will, everything will make sense. The silence, the speculation, the waiting. Because in the end, the studio never lies, and whatever has been happening behind those closed doors is about to be heard by the world. By early 2026, something unusual is happening across the global music industry. Even in silence, Jungkook is still dominating conversations. Streaming charts continue to circulate his solo catalog. His songs remain on playlists curated not just for K-pop, but for global pop audiences. Industry analysts begin to ask a question that no one expected to hear during a military enlistment period. How is he still growing? Normally, when artists step away, their momentum slows, public attention shifts, new stars emerge. But Jungkook never disappeared. His solo album Golden continues to gain streams across platforms. His hit single 7 remains a benchmark for global success. Even 3D continues to resurface in international charts. Behind the scenes, industry professionals are taking notes. Music executives are reportedly studying his rollout strategy, how a K-pop artist managed to fully cross over into Western markets without losing his original fan base. One insider described it simply: This wasn't just a K-pop success. This was a global pop takeover. And now, with his return approaching, the industry is preparing. Because whatever comes next won't just be a comeback, it will be a reset. At first, fans feared the silence. No updates, no music, no interviews. But over time, that silence started to feel intentional. Because absence creates anticipation, and anticipation creates power. For Jungkook, the lack of visibility has done something unexpected. It made every small clue feel monumental. A rumored studio booking, a producer mentioning his name, a vague comment from someone connected to HYBE. Each one spreads like wildfire across social media. Because when nothing is confirmed, everything becomes possible. Fans begin to realize something. Maybe this silence isn't a gap. Maybe it's a buildup. And if that's true, then the explosion hasn't even started yet. With anticipation rising, so does pressure, because Jungkook isn't just returning as a member of BTS, he's returning as one of the most successful solo artists in K-pop history, and that changes everything. Fans aren't just expecting music, they're expecting evolution. They want to see growth, maturity, a new identity. But here's the challenge. How do you follow Golden? How do you top global hits that already defined an era? Some fans worry that expectations might be too high. Others believe this is exactly where Jungkook thrives, because throughout his career, he's never followed expectations. He's exceeded them.